Yo, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Hello, 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 hello. What's up, gamers? Hello. We're gonna have Eunisses on in about 10 minutes here. Thank you everybody who's donated so far. I mean, it's been pretty great stuff. I was told from the campaign that it wildly exceeded their expectations. So gamers, you're really doing it big today. What's up, everybody? Thank you for being here. I want to shout out the donations that came in. We got HH. If you haven't been watching or you need a refresher on what we're doing, will she be able to hear sound alerts? No, I obviously turned those off yesterday. Actually, I think I turned them off on Wednesday so I wouldn't forget, because someone sent a picture of a name of a sound alert that I had, and I said, well, these can't be on, obviously, at all. But okay, folks, if you haven't been watching, you haven't been paying attention, you've just been watching Super Battle Golf, what we're doing here today is raising money for Eunisses Hernandez's re-election campaign. She is a sitting LA councilwoman. She is a progressive. She is a DSA member and one of 4 DSA members that are actively part of LA City Council. And you might be saying to yourself, but Luke, I don't live in Los Angeles. Why do I care about this? Or what? It's just city council. What does it matter? Well, Los Angeles is a crazy place in that there are 12 city council members for the entirety of Los Angeles, which means the power per city council member is extremely high compared to other places. For example, I lived in Chicago for many years. We got like hundreds of aldermen and the same amount of power is spread out through all of them, right? So having progressives on city council is extremely awesome for the city of Los Angeles. So keeping Eunisses in her seat is more important than ever, right? The other thing I wanted to mention, just a little bit about Eunisses, is she's had many major policy wins in her first term as a councilwoman, such as Measure J and Care First, Jails Last, which have begun to drive hundreds of millions of dollars into expanding and creating access to community-based services, housing, and support for young people in LA County. Her agenda centers and invests in systematic change that meets the needs of our people, needs like deeply affordable housing, structurally supported alternatives to incarceration, and expanded social protections that protect Angelenos from the violence of poverty. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, but Luke, again, I don't live in LA. Why should I care? Well, the thing about progressive campaigns is that when more progressives win, especially in bigger cities, it just tends to end up allowing progressives in smaller races in smaller cities to win. I mean, obviously, Mamdani is such a great example of that. The tide is shifting. And if you feel like there are ways you can want to get involved, but you don't have campaigns around you, or you don't have there are elections with progressive candidates, I mean, this is a great way to be involved if you've got the cash to spare. So thank you everybody for being here. DSA folks getting elected in any city helps DSA folks get elected in every city. Literally exactly right, Tuba Gooding Jr. Exactly right. And the last thing is, and this is the worst part for me to say, is we're $125 away, where I did promise I would do the gritty in front of the councilwoman, which is really tough. There is someone backstage on StreamYard working for the campaign who just put her hand over her face. So that really gives me a lot of confidence that this is going to go over well. Really good stuff. I'm just praying that she laughs and doesn't go, oh, cool. Yeah, that's great. Like as if she thinks that's something I normally do. You know what I mean? Like that's so much worse. Like, oh yeah, I guess this is just part of it, you know? Like I'm praying it at least comes off at least somewhat ironically. Have I practiced the gritty? Yeah, I practiced the gritty. I didn't need to put in my time today. I've put in plenty of time doing the gritty in my time. What else? That's kind of humiliating, right? Yeah, man, you hit the nail on the head there. Yep, that's right. It's kind of humiliating. Okay. Let me make sure everything's good to go. Yeah, we got about 5 minutes here. So we're going to have the councilwoman on. She's going to kind of just talk about her campaign and talk about the work she's done as a council person and hopes to do. And then I'm going to ask her a few questions. And that's it. That'll kind of be the end of today's festivities. So, yeah. Just in case you don't know the donation. So I moved to StreamYard for ease of getting getting the guest on. So I'm going to be, I have the total. So I will be reading out the total, at least for this part, and then I can switch back to OBS and have it on. So currently it's 1875. Currently it's 1875. How much to floss? I don't know, man. $3,000. Just in case you don't. Yeah. Got that. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for donating. That's a good question. That's, you see, Sweepy Gamer, that's one of those slam dunk questions we love. Everybody take note. Okay. I'm good. Yeah. And then I don't know, maybe I'll and then we'll like go back to, I guess I'll stream for like 10 more minutes after that, hopefully for more donations to come in, but that'll be the end of today. Yeah. Thank you guys again. I mean, it's really been great. Can you do the Dougie? No, I have to at least do what I know how to do. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to do it, at least it's like, I know how to do the gritty. I am going to watch a video of it really quick just to be sure. Cause now I'm like nervous. I don't know how to do it. How to gritty. Okay. The gritty to. Okay. Hold on. I'll pull this up. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So this is how to gritty. Great. Okay. The gritty tutorial. Okay. I said right foot creep, walking with that heater. Look around, stay low. Okay, yeah, I remember. Don't worry, I remember. Yeah, I remember. I was worried I didn't remember, but I totally remember. No problem. No problems there. Dun. Like riding a bike, the griddler. Me when I'm cooking something I've made like 100 times. Yeah, let me just hold up, look at a recipe. Exactly right. If I'm good at, you know what I mean? If I'm good and gritty. Let's see. We're at 1908. Thank you, LR. I'm just reading out the initials here, just so you guys know. So I don't dox anyone. For the $33, we're at 1908. God, how great would it be to? We have. Yes, I talked about Eunisses somewhat. I can say a little bit more. She's a sitting DC. That's where I'm from. LA council person who's a progressive DSA member. One of 4 progressive, super progressive people on LA City Council that we desperately want to keep on the council, right? You know, and I think sometimes you say, oh, well, she's elected. Of course she'll get elected again. She won by 3,500 votes the first time around. Because these are local elections and it's hard to get people to show up. So I want you to say your money really matters here today. And especially if you live in Los Angeles, because what I just learned talking to someone from the campaign is that the city of Los Angeles meets any Los Angelino. If your address is in Los Angeles, it will match your donation 6 to 1. So let's say you donate, I really hope I do this right, $20. The campaign will then get $120 if you're in Los Angeles from the city. So if you're like, oh, I can't donate that much, even $1 is great because $1 is $6. $1 is $6. You see, up to $143 total is the base, as the base amount you can donate. So maybe you donated already. You say, well, I only donated 120. You could put 23 more dollars out there. You know what I'm saying? And it's been cool. We've had a lot of donations from outside of state, but I know there are people that watch here that live in Los Angeles. Maybe you're saying to yourself, well, okay, I didn't know about that. I didn't know it could be that much more, you know? Exactly. $10 is basically $5 and $2 is free. Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, it's been a great day, folks. I'm really happy. It's also fun because I was talking to people on the campaign that were like, yeah, I've never been on Twitch. Why is there like 55,000 people watching a guy just sitting there? And I go, God, I wish I knew. I wish I could tell you. If I could figure that out, that I would be doing really, really well, you know, but I can't figure it out. What kind of brings some of those guys to the top, you know? I think we all know who we're talking about. Yeah. I'm gonna watch the gritty video again. It's like Depression era radio. This is really good. The second I see, I don't know if you guys know how StreamYard works, but it's like I see who's in the room already, and like I can see the second Eunisses gets on, this video is disappearing. There's no way I'm showing her that I'm on top of doing it. There's absolutely no way I'm going to say, oh, and then I had to watch a tutorial about it as well. You know? Awesome. We're at, thank you, EG, for the $10 donation. And I will shout out, since I'm not giving their name, from Los Angeles. So what does $10 become? That becomes $60, I think. Or does it become 70? I don't know how it works. 60. It becomes 60. It becomes 60. Incredible. Just like that. Blow spelled it critty. Gritty. Gritty. Wait, how is it G? $10. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Thank you so much, EG. Appreciate you. That's what's up. That's what's up. Oh, okay. There we go. Eunisses is here. Let's get her on the call. Everybody, welcome Councilwoman Eunisses Hernandez.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, Dan, thank you so much for making the time for us. It's so appreciated. Oh.
No, thank you for opening your platform for us to be able to talk about the issues. Thank you very much.
Of course, of course.
Am I glitching?
There was a slight lag, but I can hear and see you okay. Can you hear and see me okay?
Yes, my Wi-Fi is not that great, but yes,
you're good.
I can hear you perfectly.
Great. You know, the important part is down. I will let you take it away. I'm going to put you on the bigger screen, and then I'll come back with some questions afterwards, if that's cool.
Yes. No, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, let's do it. I really appreciate the opportunity for me to be able to tell a little bit about the campaign, the work that we've been doing. So my name is Eunisses Hernandez. I'm the councilwoman for LA City Council District 1, which is 22 neighborhoods, 248,000 people. It encompasses Dodger Stadium, which is where the neighborhoods of Bishop, Palo Verde, La Loma were situated in. I represent Chinatown, MacArthur Park, Pico Union, Highland Park, a lot of the best parts of the city, a lot of the immigrant dense neighborhoods, a lot of historic neighborhoods and high fire severity zones. And before I ran for office, I spent a decade working towards justice for our most vulnerable communities through criminal justice reform campaigns, legislation, budget movements. One of the last things I did in the advocacy space before I decided to run for office was co-found a nonprofit called La Defensa, working to elect progressive lawyers to be judges in LA County. And also, I co-authored a law, Measure J, with my colleague, Assemblymember Isaac Bryan, that said, LA County, you need to put 10% of locally generated tax dollars into young people, prevention, mental health services, drug treatment. Over 2 million LA County voters said, yes, we want that with our tax dollars. And so I left that work because there came a time where it was during COVID. I saw my community struggling, women and people, vulnerable people having to go through our trash to collect recyclables. And I saw that there was a real lack of leadership and someone fighting for these community members, right? Not just representing, but fighting for them. And so that's why I ran against a political giant who had been in office for over 23 years, who had sold off our district piece by piece and left a lot of our community members behind. And I won in the primary, which was only done, I think, 3 other times before. And that was all through community efforts, knocking doors on the ground, pushing for values that put people over profits, our tax dollars to come back into our communities, to fix the streetlights, pick up the trash, and fight for our most vulnerable people, particularly renters. The politics around renters, around property, around landlords is so spicy, but the people who have the most power in that dynamic are the landlords and property owners, particularly corporations. Here in LA, 75% of property owners are corporations, and just we're seeing people funneled into the eviction to homelessness pipeline. And now that I've been in office, starting my 4th year, it's been a game changer to get here, right? My first year was difficult. I'm the youngest. I'm the most progressive on the council. I'm a Latina woman, a woman of color, and the strongest powers in City Hall really were trying to prevent us from moving the agenda of my community, which is stopping the eviction to homelessness pipeline, investing our tax dollars back into community, establishing unarmed crisis response teams. But over time, I was able to be surgical, and build up the people power to put the pressure on my colleagues, on other pieces of the local government, to move on these investments, to move on this legislation. And we've gotten the city of LA, I got a pilot program started for unarmed crisis response teams. Now, 2 years in, over 18,000 calls have these teams answered that come from 911, where it's either people having mental health crises, housed or experiencing homelessness, loitering, other mental health crisis situations. And out of those 18,000 calls that they've answered, less than 4% have they needed police backup. And when they respond to a call, it costs $35 versus $85 for police to answer the same call. So it's fiscally more responsible. We're saving lives. And this type of work around unarmed crisis response teams, I started before I became a council member, because I met people and families who were impacted because sheriff deputies in LA killed their loved ones while they were in the middle of a mental health crisis. And so being in office, I've been able to build that program for the city, and my colleagues on the council just unanimously approved to make this program permanent here in the city. My goal is that in the next couple of years, we will scale this up citywide. Right now, we cover about 6 out of 21 divisions that it can cover. And I'm running again because there's still a huge fight ahead of us. We've been over 50 weeks of experiencing these federal immigration raids. I've been leading on the response in the city with the mayor and my other colleagues, helping pay back rent, helping create more food access, sending mass text messages to my district for people to know their rights, to know when there's raids happening in the area, developing a block by block captain program. So when raids do happen, we have people block by block who can respond, who can help identify the person who was taken, connect their families with services and rental assistance and food access. Because oftentimes we've seen it's breadwinners that have been taken off the streets and kidnapped. And so being a response there, I co-authored our sanctuary city ordinance, which in the city of LA, people thought it was a sanctuary city. It was not. We did it right before Trump came into office to try to prevent this and preventing the city from utilizing its resources, its facilities, and staff time to enable federal immigration enforcement. And that work really made me question whether I want to do this again, because I am the daughter of Mexican immigrants. My loved ones are Mexican and have mixed immigrant statuses. And so I decided to run because this moment where the universe and God have put me here, I have to lean in, and I feel like it's my responsibility to fight and continue fighting. And also, there's so many local fires, so many things happening at the local level that I need to keep fighting for, such as our housing availability and affordability. I nerd out about the delivery of city services, and I'm doing some work right now where we're on the precipice of being able to, right now it takes us like over a year to fix a street light. We're on the precipice of getting that down to a week. So it'll take a week to fix your street light and a month for major repairs. And that for me, is the most exciting part in some senses, because it's literally your tax dollars translating into uplifting the quality of your life. And that's work that I look forward to continuing to do in my second term of how do we reduce our sidewalk fixing time. Right now, it takes us 10 years at least to fix a sidewalk if your sidewalk gets on the fix-it list. 15 years to trim a tree, 3 to 5 years to put a new blue handicap curb. These are all deficiencies in our processes, but also a lack of investment. And that's why budget advocacy is so important to me. Moving money where it needs to go. Right now, the Bureau of Street Lighting, for example, gets 0.5% of all locally generated tax dollars. And that bucket is about $8 billion. Out of that $8 billion, LAPD gets about 45% of that. And all the bureaus that fix everything in our city combined, they get less than 10% of that $8 billion. So there's reasons why we're not functioning as a city in certain ways. And I'm excited to comb through. And I know I've talked a lot already, but again, I'm running again because there's still too many fights on the table locally. There's too many fights that we have to take on to protect our communities from authoritarianism taking over. And want to continue being the truth teller on the council. I want to be the one to continue to move the political Overton window towards progress. My first year, I was the only council member to vote no against the proposed budget. My second year, I was able to bring on more council members, 2 more council members to vote no against the proposed budget with me, because that money, our money, was not coming back to communities. It was going to carceral responses more than anything. And now in my third year, I've been appointed to budget and finance and helped save over 1,600 jobs. So progressives can run, progressives can win, progressives can govern, and we can be the leaders to make the statements, the political moves, the legislative moves to create reverberations across the nation. And so I just, again, appreciate the platform to be able to share some of these things, some updates, to nerd out about some of my priorities and the lights and the trees, and most importantly, our unarmed crisis response team. But my deepest gratitude to you all and to this beautiful show who have helped bring in resources, because I don't bend the knee to corporations or special interests or the lobbyists, and they're pissed. And that's why I have 4 people running against me. That's why I have the Los Angeles Police Protective League, which is essentially the police union, throwing over $57,000 against me. That's why the Landlords Association want to take me out, because I'm not there to fill their pockets. I'm there to put people over profits, people over, policies that will harm them, and so that all of us benefit. I represent everybody, but when our most vulnerable community members are thriving, that means the rest of us are also thriving. So thank you so much, and my deepest gratitude to you all.
Thank you, council member. That was so amazing. That was so great to hear. And as specifically as a Los Angelino, I want to say specifically the streetlight thing really hit home for me, because if the number of times I'm walking down a street and I'm like, oh, it's completely dark outside because there's no streetlights on, is astounding given the size of our city. I just wanted to ask a few questions. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please go ahead. I think there was a lag. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I will say to people watching, and given knowing the general makeup of the politics in the audience here, I think it's a pretty telling sign in a great way that the 2 people most against you are the police union and the landlords union. I mean, if that's not like the proof in the pudding, I don't really know what is. A couple questions just before we let you get out of here, because I know you got a busy schedule. Election day is coming up. What's a win you're most proud of that people wouldn't necessarily see, but has really made a real difference in people's day-to-day lives? I know you've already touched on that with stuff like trees and streetlights and everything else you mentioned, but I was wondering if there was anything else that came to mind.
Yes. And forgive the lag if there's a lag.
Oh, no, it's totally.
Okay.
We can hear and see you, and that's what's important. I'm going to be quiet now and let you speak.
Oh, thank you. Something that I'm really proud of that I helped lead with my colleagues on the council is rent caps for rent stabilized units. So rent stabilized units usually is our people who are lowest income are using these units, or people who just want deeply affordable housing. The rent is not supposed to be going up at exorbitant amounts. It used to be able to go up by 10% every year, which is a lot for some people, especially if they're on like fixed income. But recently, at the end of last year, we were able to put a cap on rents for these rent stabilized units so that rent can only go up by 4%. And this hadn't been done in 40 years. 40 years. And that's longer than I've been on this earth. That's how long it took the local government of the city of Los Angeles to make change on this. And that's something you can't like touch, right? Like you can't see it, but you will feel it, especially if you're in these units. And that, for me, what I've been hearing more of now is like people in market rate units saying, hey, please, can we consider this for market rate units? Because folks who are struggling, who are vulnerable, who need extra support aren't just in RSOs. They're in market rate units as well. And checks don't go up by 10% every year. And if it does, you are very lucky.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how we expand that. But RSO rent caps after 40 years, number one.
I love it. Yeah, I would say even if you have a well-paying job and your salary goes up 10%, that's kind of like the best year you've had at the job. So to expect us to then have to field that backing is so crazy. Just a couple more questions. We've seen progressive leaders in places like LA and New York, LA obviously, win on issues like housing, labor, and immigrant protections. What lessons from those victories do you want to take into your next term going forward?
The biggest lessons that I want to take with me moving forward are that we need to build the people power to make it happen, to be successful in our fights. I need a majority of the council to move with me if I want to pass something. That's 8 votes at least, 10 votes in some cases. But over time, as the progressives have been in office, we've been able to deepen what we call co-governing. So working with communities to develop policy, but also working with communities to engage in fights together. So going for example, Tahoe 2.0, which is a law around tenant anti-harassment, where we were able to be successful in making that law strong and have enforcement teeth by working and strategizing with community. And that, I think, for me, it's always been people power is where it's at. People power is what persuades government. But the lesson that I'm talking about here is that people have not trusted local government, city government in LA for a long time. They are not empathetic to the failures of local government anymore. And there's distrust there. So having to build up that trust by opening the door to City Hall for our people, the lesson is how do we most effectively open it for them so that they feel empowered and they make a difference. And that, for me, has been the biggest learning lesson so far, because yes, giving public comment is important. You need to come out, but there are other ways to engage and leverage people power to persuade government to do the right thing. And we have a lot of big local fights coming up ahead of us where we're going to need people to engage, regular people who don't want to be politically engaged, but local politics, we decide the quality of your life once you step out your door. If you are a homeowner, if you're a tenant, local government governs the habitability standards of your apartment or where you're renting and everything outside your door. And so teaching people about that's and engaging them and opening the doors, for me, we can't not forget that lesson, because our first year we lost a lot of motions that we should have won, but we just hadn't built the people power for it.
Totally.
Get engaged,
100%. Please get engaged. Yeah, I was trying to say that earlier in the chat, is like, in a time where national politics could make you feel really alienated, a really great solve to that is to be like, well, look around you, because local politics, as you said, you step out your front door and you go, oh, look, that sidewalk that's been messed up since I moved in here is finally getting fixed. I mean, it really is very tangible in the moment. Okay, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I do unfortunately have to end with this next bit, which is that I promised the people watching that I would. Do you know what the gritty is? Does that mean anything to you?
I don't. Please tell me.
Yeah, great. So it's a dance that teenagers did on TikTok, 4 or 5 years ago. And I said, if we hit over $2,000, which we did, we went actually over that. We hit $2,135 is the total we're at now, which is awesome. Thank you so much. I did promise them that I would gritty in front of you. So I'm going to do that now. And that will, I guess, be the end of the stream, unfortunately. Okay, here we go. And I don't have music, which is maybe even worse. So, okay, hold on. All right. Thank you for being a good sport. Oh, God. Thank you for being a good sport. And thank you for your time, council member. It was really great to have you on. It was really great to have you speak. I know it inspires me to be more invested in the politics of the city I live in every day. So have a great one. And thank you again.
Thank you. If I could just leave y'all with this, you just did the gritty for local politics. There's a lane for everybody. You might be an artist. You might be a Twitch streamer. You might be a musician. Find your lane, because we need folks to tell the story. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity and the platform. Have a great one. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. You as well. Take care. Well, there you have it, folks. I did the gritty for an LA local politician who's extremely cool. And I think it especially felt so insane given how eloquently and amazingly she spoke, that inspired me so much as a Los Angelino myself, to then gritty for her. Really, Yeah, that was really good. So thank you, everybody. And thank you. Oh, wow. And look at that. $100 more came in. Thank you, everybody. I really do appreciate you taking the time. I know it's like, I don't know, I want to call it a hard sell, but I know it's a local election in a place you might not live. It doesn't feel important. And I really appreciate you all saying to me through your donations, the time you spent and everything in between, that it is important and it matters, right? I mean, this money really, really matters. Well, thank you, the remover. I've done a fair amount. I need to start canvassing again. I canvassed for Bernie back in the day in 2020 and had a great time doing it. Yeah, but anyway, that's it. That's kind of the end of today. We hit the goal. We're 200 over the goal. Again, this money is like legitimately going to help in real time. It's so cool. As in many things, as goes California, so goes the nation. This has relevance for beyond the city limits. I 100% agree with you. I have seen this city get better under progressive leadership. There's still, obviously, as the council member said, so much more work to be done. I mean, just here, it's like, I know the statistic that 45% of our budget goes to the police and 0.08% goes to streetlights. But every time I hear it, it's like, it makes you go insane. You know what I mean? Like, let's see if your donation came in at 507. I believe I can really very easily check that. It looks like it did. If your initials are MM. Yeah, dude, it's so like our city. It is a long road ahead, but there is such serious work being done. I mean, dude, I remember when the fires happened last year and they just stopped being like, they just started raising rent crazily, just even though they weren't supposed to, you know? It's crazy, but I'm very proud to live in this city. I think the core of this city is very good and very beautiful, and it's full of working class people that make the city run in every industry, entertainment, manufacturing, for everything. This city runs on the back of those workers, and it's cool to have people in office now that represent those workers. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Thank you for listening, everybody, and thank you for taking the time. I know most of the time I'm sort of saying insane stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave the donation link up. I'll post it in the Discord as well. If you do want to donate, you know, it's still there. Again, if you are a Los Angelino, I will say one more time, you do, your donation gets matched 6-1, and you just, when you put in your info, it'll like check that for you, and they like double check to make sure like your name is listed up to your address. So thanks everyone. I saw a lot of donations come in from truly all over the country, and it really did my heart well. Let's raid Big Howell Dottie, and then I'm going to probably just like spend the rest of the day thinking about how I grittied in front of one of the most powerful politicians in my cities and best politicians in my city. So I'll probably do that for the rest of the day. I'll see you all on Monday. Pukey versus Lukey next week, next Thursday. That's our special stream next week. Bye, everybody.